This film is so iconic. I mean, all generations love it. It's been around for so many years. I really am just honored to play this character, and I think my favorite part is bringing everyone's childhood to life. I think everyone loves Clifford because, I mean, he's a giant red dog. It's very unique. I mean, there's no one else like that. And so, I mean, your childhood is so important to everyone that Clifford being there for basically all of it. I mean, he's this character in a book that people's parents read to them, your loved ones read to you, and I think he's just so important to everyone because of that. It's perfect for the holiday season. I mean, it's a family movie and everyone loves it, and it's heartwarming, but there's also that bit of comedy, and I think you're going to walk away just glowing coming out of the movie theater. New York City is basically a character in this film. I mean, it's perfect for Clifford. I mean, it's a big city for a big dog, and there's just so many adventures in this film. I mean, running around New York City, different places. They're going to light up the Empire State Building red, and I'm just so honored and excited. I mean, this is a huge part of the press for this film. I mean, that Empire State Building is a big deal, so I'm just nervous, but mostly excited.
The experience with working with a big CGI dog, I mean, it was a first time working with CGI in general and first time working on green screen. And so it was definitely an experience for me, and I definitely learned a lot from that. Darby Camp, she was a big inspiration, and one of my friends, Jack Whitehall, he helped me a lot. He was a really good comedian, he's hilarious. And all the other SNL actors, they're really funny. I mean, honestly, they taught me a lot, and I definitely learned a lot. The character I played was Owen. He is a very careful and kind and caring person. He's very loyal and trustful towards Emily, and he's Emily's secret admirer and also her best friend, and kind of has a crush on her too. I think New York City fits really well. I mean, it's a place that almost everyone knows. If you don't know New York City, then I think you're living under a rock. But it's like a place that everyone knows, and I think Clifford fits really well into it. Clifford fits really well into it, pun intended. So.
I just love the tone of this movie, and it felt like one of those kind of classic 90s kids films, and when I read the script it reminded me of the types of movies that I used to love watching when I was growing up, and to be part of something like that is going to introduce a whole new generation to this iconic character and the books, and to be part of that kind of legacy was really exciting. They were amazing, yeah. Darby was fantastic and so professional. She's been in like 3 or 4 movies before we'd even started. She had a longer IMDb list of credits than I did. Although, to be fair, I think there's a monkey in the film that has more IMDb credits than I do. So yeah, it was great. They were really cool people to work with, and then we also had all of these amazing comedians and peers of mine, Tony Hale, John Cleese, Kenan Thompson. So yeah, it was a really great ensemble. Great holiday film. I think it's funny, but it's also got a lot of heart and this lovely central message for kids that are going to see it about inclusivity and accepting people that are different, and how a little bit of kindness can go a long way. And I think that will really resonate with families. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine it anywhere other than New York. New York's such an integral part of the film and is very much like a character within it, and felt so fortunate to get to be able to film in all of these amazing locations around Manhattan and these iconic spaces, and I think it really, lends to the kind of magical, timeless quality that the film has.
It's a really beautiful message of kind of embracing differences, and Clifford grows because of the love that Emily gives him, and I feel like our society could use that right now, So it's great. It's a great movie. I have a 15-year-old. When she was younger, we were desperate, hungry to look for stuff to go watch as a family. So this is the perfect time. Like, people want to get together, they want to kind of experience something together, and this is definitely the movie to do it. Darby is I was super impressed with Darby, who plays the lead, Emily Elizabeth. I was not that mature at that age, and she just handled it beautifully. And also Jack, we met recently, he's super funny. John Cleese is in this. I grew up on Monty Python. I mean, so that was very exciting, very exciting.
New York, obviously, just to be able to shoot here is one of the best cities in the world. The director is amazing, I've known for a very long time. The producer is amazing, I've known for a very long time. So I just felt very lucky to be on board. And it's Clifford. I mean, it's a heartwarming story that we really need right now, I think. We as filmmakers and actors and whatnot, you do the best you can and you hope they take certain things. And what I hope they take is just a sense of togetherness, a sense of some tolerance, tolerating people that aren't like you, things that are different than you, and just activating that in their own personal lives. It was the best. I mean, it was just a joy. It didn't feel like work. It felt like it just felt like stealing almost, because every day is just like a blessing to be there. You didn't want the days to end. You're there with like young actors who are just so exuberant and bringing so much energy every day. You remember why you love this so much. It was a very different set that I can't say enough good things about.
I loved working with everyone. It was just such a special cast and crew, and bringing Clifford to life was amazing. Everyone can relate to Clifford. Everyone can relate to having a best friend and wanting to really bring the community together to fight for that friend. And that's what Clifford is. It's just love. So much love. We really became a family. I was so privileged to be able to learn and work with these amazing actors, these comedians who are so quick and so brilliant. And they really just accepted me with open arms, which I appreciated.
I think it's a really special look at family, for one thing, and at Clifford. I think for Emily is such a huge step. It's sort of a coming of age story. She's very young, but it's a sweet look at her sort of finding herself, I think, through this dog, and she really. I think she finds a way to connect in a way that she hadn't before, because she felt so isolated in this school, because of people like Florence, So I think it was really a sweet way to watch her sort of grow up and find who she is.
Everybody read it, I'm an old guy now, and I remember reading it as a kid. I read it in Spanish and in English. Clifford has stood the test of time. It's a metaphor for having a love for something that is bigger than yourself, and also, nobody can figure out what breed is he. I think he's got a little bit of everything. He's got a little bit of a Saint Bernard, and he's got those big ears like a wiener dog, and he's got the heart of a Chihuahua. The director used a lot of stand-up comics, and I think the outtakes were hilarious. Hanging around with Russell Peters and David Allen Grier was I should have paid them. It's a lot of fun. I've been in other films where they're very strict and it's a very somber cast, but this one was a true joy to be in. I think the biggest critic was my granddaughter. She didn't even notice me in there. She just noticed the dog. And I guess that's what it's supposed to be. Clifford, literally in New York, is like the bull in the china shop. His tail is lethal, and that's fits in for a lot of slapstick. It's a huge dog in a huge town.
Goodness doesn't relent. I think that's the story of who Clifford is. Do the right thing, the hard right thing, continuously, no matter what state in life you are, and you will prevail. Unless you don't. You got to watch the movie to see if you don't prevail, but we know good always wins.
New York for me, is the cultural center of the Western world. And to have Clifford take place in a vertical environment with that kind of energy and have this huge dog that can compete with a skyscraper is the most wonderful, energetic idea. What's timeless about the book are the values in the book, and that's relationship. And also the endorphins that a good dog seems to release in human beings. It's about overcoming the obstacles of being different, of being too big and too red, and thus scary to people because you're the other as opposed to what's expected, and how nonetheless the dog and his little mistress succeed.
It's a couple of challenges. One is just with scale, because having a character that's 10 feet tall with humans, that presents its own scale challenges. But really more important than that, it was creating something that would be able to emote or at least give an actor a sense of what they're acting against. Otherwise, they're acting against air. So we had taken a page from a play I had seen called Warhorse that used a beautifully animated two-person puppeteered horse, and said, let's build that and do the 10-foot dog version. So our puppeteers were, they were actors as well, but they were so incredible about being able to create a 10-foot puppy on set. Like, you could tell when it was sad and it was happy and shaking and all the behavior that a dog could do. They really helped replicate that, which helped the actors immensely. I think I love just, as always, just the cast and the way that a film crew and everybody becomes a family. So that's always the most fun part. Solving problems, like how are we going to represent a 10-foot dog that's not there for our actors. Working with incredible crew in New York, which I've worked occasionally on smaller things, but not for a whole film. And then I just think working with Scholastic and taking a property, it's Clifford is their mascot, and being able to take a property that I was reading probably as my first book, and then remember reading to my 6 and 7-year-olds when they were that age. So to be able to kind of create a little bit of a live action, tentacle off these beloved books, to me is always an honor. So I just felt very grateful to participate in it. I think it's going to be the perfect holiday film because it leaves you feeling loved, inspired. I feel like it's charming. I think it's how we all want to feel at the holiday season. And I think for a year and a half we've been through so much as a country with COVID and everything else. I just think it's the right movie at the right time. And I think it's going to be wonderful to come out during the holidays.